Alright, so thank you for tuning in for another video here. Today we're going to be working on the homie Drew's VB behind me. We're going to be adding some Cusco bars. If you take a look here, picked them up today for a deal on Marketplace, the place that everybody goes to find their deals. We polished them up, made them look nice and shiny. They were a bit oxidized when you brought them, and now we're just going to go ahead and get them in the car. So let's get into it. Alright, so first thing we want to do is start taking out this trunk liner so we can get to the strut towers so we can install the bar. Alright, so after taking out the trunk liner, we need to go ahead and remove these caps over here that are hiding the bolts of the strut towers, and they're stapled onto the rest of the liner, so we just need to take those staples out because we're not going to use those anymore once we have the strut bar on there. So just carefully like that. You'll see the staples here holding it on, but if you give it a good tug, it'll come right out. Now we'll just do the same thing for the other side. All right, so now that we have access to the tops of our strut towers, there's two bolts that we need to take off on both ends so that we can mount the strut bar. So we'll go ahead and get those off. They're 14mm. Alright, so we got one side off, now we got to do the other. Alright, now we can just lay our strut bar on, get those bolts back on, torque them down to spec, and we'll be good with the back. Alright, so we got our rear strut bar here. We're going to go ahead and place it in and see how the fitment is. Hopefully everything lines up like it should. Oh, beautiful. Nice. So that's in. We'll get the nuts back on and we'll get them torqued down to spec, and then we'll move on to the front. Alright, so we're going to get those nuts on, finger tight, and then we'll torque them down. Alright, so now you're going to take a torque wrench. The torque for these is 24 foot-pounds. So we're just going to go in and we're going to listen for that click. Right, and same for the other side. So now to get our liner back in, probably would have been smart to get it in before putting in the bar, but this thing's pretty flexible. So interesting thing with these VBs, there's actually a Velcro flap that holds these there. So don't forget to do that Velcro in the back. For our final touch, to call it complete, there we go. Now for the front. All right, so now onto the front. Drew has an AOS on his, so we need to actually drop this down because right now the Cusco bar won't fit across. So if you come around here and you look at the bracket, you'll see that there's holes here so you can adjust the height on your AOS. So we're gonna need to take out these 4 bolts and we're gonna drop it down, and we're gonna put these 2 bolts on these top 2 bolts down here. And that should drop it about 1 inch, if not a little bit more, and should give us enough room to get his Cusco bar on. All right, so now that we have our AOS loose, we can go ahead and lower it, and we're gonna add our bolts in the highest position. All right, once all your bolts are finger tighted down, you'll go ahead and just take your Allen, torque them down, and then we'll start working on the strut bar. All right, so the AOS has been dropped as low as it can go. Now we just need to get off these strut tower nuts, and then we'll fix our Cusco bar on top, torque them down, and we'll call it a day. All right, so let's get these strut bolts off. It's a 14mm. If you don't have one of these automatic ratchets, highly recommend you get one. Alright, so we got our front strut tower bar here. Test the fitment on this. Alright, so we might need to do some adjusting with these nuts here to get it to fit because it doesn't look like it wants to sit right. So let me get some tools so we can loosen those up and get this aligned. All right, so we went ahead and loosened the ends here where it mounts to the strut towers. Hopefully that'll help us with lining it up here. Beautiful. So that was the trick. Making sure to loosen these up. Just don't forget to tighten them down when you're done. But we'll get the nuts back on top, torque it down to spec, get our little joints here tightened down as well, and be good to go. All right, so these need to get torqued down to 27 foot-pounds, and we'll see if we need to switch up the socket on here, but got the torque wrench set. This one we're going to need to get a deep socket. Alright, so we got our deep socket for this one in the back. That way we're not scratching up his Cusco bar. Sauce. Now for the other side. Alright, so I already got the one in the back here since it's a little harder to get to. And get this one in the front. For this last one, we can switch out to a short socket. right, now we just need to torque these down, and that's gonna be 42 foot-pounds. Well, that's gonna wrap it up here on this hot sunny day in Southern California. Drew's VB's all hooked up now with some new Cusco front and rear strut tower bars. Sorry, that's a long one, but it looks good. Wasn't a hard install. I think it took us about an hour to do. And yeah, time for him to go have some fun. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.